welcome everybody to Ignite Humanity Live. I am your host, JB Owens. So happy to have you here. I'm the CEO and founder of Ignite Moments, Ignite Humanity, and Ignite Publishing, where we tell transformational stories. And really, it was in storytelling that started all of this and was the preface to Ignite Humanity Live. I've been publishing stories now for quite a few years, and we're all about Ignite Moments stories. Now, if you don't know what Ignite Moments story is, let me share with you. Every single person on the planet has an Ignite moment. In fact, they have multiple Ignite moments. And those Ignite moments are those times in their lives where something phenomenal has happened to move them forward in a new direction. Now, some people's Ignite moments are difficult and challenging. Some people's Ignite moments are awakening and inspiring. But ultimately, everyone's Ignite moment helps them become a better version of themselves. And this whole show is inspired by individuals that I have met throughout my journey that have had incredible Ignite moments that have pushed them forward to do something to help humanity. We, as a publishing house, have multiple books. We have over 19 books in our catalog of amazing Ignite moments. Over 700 authors have come through our portal telling us about their Ignite moments and publishing them to become international best-selling authors. And as a publisher and listening to all of those stories, and seeing how impactful they are and realizing how healing and transformative and changing and connecting they are, I really had that idea moment, that Ignite moment that said to me, do you know what? Our stories are what bring us together. Our stories are what change us fundamentally on a cellular level. When we tell our story, we absolutely transform our lives. And I literally had the epiphany that Ignite moments and heartfelt stories and authentic sharing and real life true connection between other people through our human experience is absolutely going to ignite humanity. We don't need more policies. We don't need more bureaucrat. We don't need more fighting between governments. We don't need any more implementation of restrictions or things that are exactly formatted around an algorithm. What we really need is to come together as a humanity. We need to come together and see not our differences, but our similarities. We need to realize that each and every person on the planet is more like us than we think. And in fact, our human experience of perseverance and dedication and resilience and all those brave and beautiful things that we do as human beings, that's actually what brings us together. When we hear another story of someone else who has overcome a hardship, who has made it through a difficulty, who has come out on the other side with wisdom and knowledge and learning that has made them a better person, we lean in, we listen, and we actually identify their experience with our own. We find the similarities. Our brain searches for, you know what, they're just like me in a lot of ways. And that creates camaraderie. That creates connection. I have said that, if you put two men in a room and they both shared how they'd lost a son in the war, and then they stood up to realize and hugged each other out of compassion and support, only to find out that one of them was from the opposing country that they were at war with. Their story brought them together more than any other thing. And that is a powerful, powerful tool that I truly feel that we need to utilize as human beings to connect with one another, to understand one another, and to have compassion for one another. And that will heal humanity. Now, I know it's wishful thinking and we're all super busy. And many of you could be saying, yeah, JB, that's a pipe dream. And, if you only knew my life. But what I want to do each and every day is come into your home and share a little bit with you, or maybe into your car, or maybe into wherever, maybe you're on the beach listening to this or watching this, wherever you are in the world. I would like to reach out to you and share with you that you have a story. You have something really valuable inside of you that can benefit other people. And by sharing your story, you allow people to understand you on a deeper level. I strongly believe that every single person on the planet deserves to be seen, deserves to be heard, and deserves to feel like they belong. And when you share your story, you awaken that feeling of belonging. And that's what we're here to do for you today. So sit back and enjoy as we welcome our guests. Today is all about connection. Every day on Ignite Humanity Live, we have a theme, and today is about connection. So we're going to give you ideas and strategies and ways to enhance connection. And I've already showed you Ignite Moments is the first step towards that. Finding that authentic story within you that you can share with others to help them feel more empowered about themselves. That's one way to build incredible connection. And of course, I'd love to invite my guest, Miss Cindy Tank Murphy. I'm going to read her bio. She's a best-selling author, international speaker, and mental health advocate. Cindy offers a unique perspective on the much-needed conversation around overcoming the grief from suicide and the mental health epidemic around it. Trained in mental health first aid and certified in QPR, a suicide prevention technique, Cindy believes we can eliminate the stigma associated with mental illness through awareness and open dialogue that will ultimately save lives. She provides support and professional coaching through her multiple platforms. And guess what, folks? Her phenomenal book is The Strength to Live, comes out next week, January 27th, 2023. She'll be launching her incredible, and I've read it. I've helped publish it. I endorse it. It's phenomenal. Welcome to the show, Cindy Tank Murphy. Hey, girlfriend, how are you?
I'm great, JB. Thank you for having me.
So
wonderful to be
happy
here.
to have you here. I know, ditto. I feel the love. I feel the joy. It's a blessing to have you here because, you know, you and I have been working together quite extensively to support you in bringing forth this really important book. And we'll tell the folks more about it. But before we get there, let's just give them a little bit of background on you. Share a little bit about, you know, what are the highs and lows, the goods, the bads, the fun stuff around Cindy?
Well, I am a mother of two daughters. They're actually, can officially say they're adult children now.
Wow.
Which is amazing. Like, wow, right? I have an 18 and a 21-year-old. I've been married to my husband for, it'll be 27 years this year. We've known each other since we were very little. Grew up
3 years old. Yes, I know. That's awesome.
Yeah, we were talking about that a little bit earlier, but you know, I live in the Chicago suburbs, and I was born and raised in a very small rural town in Iowa. And so, you know, my background was always kind of dripping these little ideas. I'll say to myself, you know, I had an idea of writing a book several years ago. I've had experiences that have just, you know, they're these little moments, I say, JB, where, you know, there's something that you're supposed to be listening to, and sometimes you push them aside, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, this was the sign, right? So I've just had that experience throughout my lifetime, and I don't know if you want to get into my Ignite moment right away,
well,
but
I do, because, well, I love that you admit that, because many of us, we don't necessarily listen to those nudges and we don't necessarily follow them. But, you know, I really want to say congratulations. You had the aspiration to write a book on a difficult subject matter. We're talking about overcoming grief from the loss of suicide. Not an easy subject matter, not easy to write about. And folks, I really want to encourage you. January 27th, Cindy's book is available on Amazon for free. I'm giving you a little bit of a plug because I really feel like this book has a lot of value to it. And I've shared this with you. When we first started working on your book, I wasn't sure the content. I wasn't sure, like, you know, this is a tough subject matter. This is that taboo thing that people don't want to talk about. People don't want to talk about suicide. They don't want to talk about overcoming it. They don't want to talk about, you know, how to deal with it. But working with you over the last few months, it's been such a joy to realize that this kind of information is so valuable to everyone. And I really want to say that wholeheartedly. You know, you converted me into an advocate to actually support individuals who are struggling with this, dealing with this, overcoming this. And I just want to say, for all the thousands of people who are watching, like, bravo to you for your bravery and your resilience. And I know I said it's been a few months, but folks, it's been over a year. Cindy's really been working on this, her heart and soul, and that makes it magical. I often say the longer you work on a book, the better it becomes. But so there was some things in your life, there were some challenges, and this is really what Ignite Humanity Alive is about. Let's get deep, let's get honest, let's get authentic. There were some things in your life that pushed you and pulled you forward to writing this book. Do you want to share?
Sure. Yeah, definitely. You know, I always like to say this book chose me. The topic chose me. I would not have, you know, 20 years ago when I had the idea of writing a book, and if someone would have said, well, you're going to write about suicide and overcoming the grief of it and mental health and dealing with it in your family, I would have said, honestly, I would have said, oh, no, no, thanks. I would have said maybe something a little stronger than that too. But, you know, as I said, there were these life moments. In fact, starting from the very young age of 9 years old, the very first time I knew someone that died from suicide was my elementary school principal. And I remember vividly at that age of 9, just thinking, how could anyone want to end their life? And it really stuck with me. And little did I know at the time when I was 9 that my father, my own father, had already had a mental breakdown and had suffered because he was, he was drafted into Vietnam. And, we have so many veterans that are struggling.
Yes,
But
you do.
little did I know that he had already experienced something like that. And it wasn't until, again, several of these moments, dealing with my own father's mental illness, understanding it to the point of him having another suicidal episode when I was in my teen years, and ultimately losing him in 2014 to suicide. And so that was really the gut punch. I never envisioned losing him, even though I knew he had some major struggles throughout his lifetime. It just never, he would make the comment. I lost a cousin to suicide as well, and he said that he couldn't imagine anyone doing that to their family, and yet here he was struggling himself. And then fast forward just a few years after losing my father, and in fact, even before that, I saw signs of struggle within one of my daughters. Both of my daughters actually deal with anxiety, but the pressures of understanding the severity of the issue really helped me understand when my daughter, my oldest child, I could tell was starting to have just a withdrawal, dissociation, a lot of the symptoms that go along with, depression and anxiety. And I knew at that point I needed to sit down and have a real honest conversation with her. And I was scared to death. I mean, as any parent would be. No one wants to ask their child if they're thinking of ending their life. But it was that conversation that I had to have, and ultimately found out that was the breaking point that she actually shared with me. Yeah, Mom, I do, and I have a plan of how I want to end it. And so, fast forward, about
Well, you write I just
yeah.
want to say you write about that moment, that really powerful moment between you and your daughter, and you having that conversation with her.
Yes.
You write about it really beautifully in your book. And what I appreciated so much is, again, the calmness and the bravery that you had to ask her, not accuse her or, shame her, but just really ask her. And then also have a plan and a willingness to help her and support her, again, not, get upset or blame her. And I just really want to say, for all the parents who are listening, it's a really vital conversation to have, and Cindy shares about it really beautiful. Keep going.
Oh, thank you, JB. And you're right. I mean, the teenage years are tumultuous no matter what, right? I mean, it's very difficult for a parent to understand or even disseminate between, is this normal teenage emotions, or is there something more complex going on here? And especially like for my daughter, she hit it very well. And most people that are dealing with a mental illness and these perpetual thoughts and ideas going through their heads about how they'd be better off, being gone, not being here in this world. And it really is a disease. I just want to really emphasize that, I have really studied this subject, and I understand it from a perspective of the people that are living it. But, that is something that I feel like we as parents, we tend to be in denial. We don't want to think that that's happening to our child. And yet I know so many parents who will say to me, I had no idea. and they've lost a child, you know, and I've had
Mm-hmm.
no idea they were struggling. I felt like it was regular teenage drama. So we have to bring this subject up. We have to talk about it because it is a disease. It's easy to connect the dots when you realize this isn't something shameful. This isn't something that needs to be hidden. This is an illness. And I won't get into the specifics because there, of course, are many reasons why people take their lives. But we can all agree that the majority of people that are in that position of wanting to take their life or end their life have some sort of mental instability taking place. And so when you can look at it from the same perspective that you look at, for instance, someone that has untreated or undiagnosed heart disease, it can lead to a heart attack. I like to say that untreated and undiagnosed mental health or mental illness can lead to suicide. It is an
Mm-hmm.
effect of the disease. And so when you take that shame and that guilt and, you know, the stigma around suicide, and there's many reasons why there is stigma around that. We can get to that in a moment. But when you remove that and you can just talk about it as this, we need to get you help. We need to find treatment. We need to find some form of psychotherapy for you to discuss
Mm-hmm.
these feelings. Then you can you get past that panicky, that I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I'm fearful. And you can kind of move into this, I'm taking care of my child just like I would if they had any other illness.
I think it's really a valuable point, and you bring up so many things that many of us, if we haven't been exposed to it, we're really not conscious and aware of. And what I appreciate, and really the precedent of this show, is that people can see and hear and listen to you and feel inspired, because if Cindy can do it, I can do it. If Cindy can get through it, I can get through it. If she can learn from it, I can learn from it. And that really is these pivotal shifts that we want people to realize, that there are ways to pull yourself forward. There are ways to ask for help. There are ways to find a light at the end of the tunnel. And I know that's very cliche, but a light at the end of the tunnel. And so you've taken this, very difficult experience, and now it's become a bit of your mission. A lot of your mission. It's really become part of your platform. It's become how you're an advocate. And so, with the spirit of connection being today's theme, can you share a little bit about how we can connect with each other more? Because, again, a lot of mental illness and the results of mental illness are triggered by loneliness, isolation, ostracization, all of that. So let's talk a little bit about how we can take what you've learned and learn from you ways that we can help ourselves and help others.
Yeah. So that's a wonderful segue, because, I've always known that I've been a good connector, but I didn't realize that it could be used in such a profound way in helping people. So one of the chapters actually in my book, The Strength to Live, there's a chapter all about, and I title it Empathy. And what I mean by that is when we can connect with someone on a level where we step into their shoes, not on just a sympathy, I feel sorry for them, or I'm, in a judgmental state, but in a true, I can step into their shoes. I'm going to try to make myself understand their situation. That's very powerful. And so one of the things that we can do in connecting with people is we can always show up in a very authentic way. And when we notice people around us that just seem to have maybe a struggle going on in that certain moment. I've been in an airport and witnessed a woman, frantic on a phone call with her mother. And I stepped in and I just said, is there something I can do to help you? And I know that sounds like a really, why would you do that to a complete stranger? But there are moments where you're called to do things in life. I truly believe this. And we know it, we feel it, we sense it. We are in the presence of it. And so many times it's very easy for us to just say, you know what, that's not my business. I'm going to step away. I can see there's something bad going on over there, but I'm not going to deal with it. We're actually supposed to, as human beings, connect and reach out and offer support. I like to
Yeah,
say,
you have a great story also. You told me, sorry to cut in, about when you were in a coffee shop and there was a gentleman in the coffee shop and you just could tell that he just really needed something, and you just offered to be there. Share a little bit about that, and then share a little bit about the gentleman outside. I mean, I love your stories.
Yeah, okay, so the coffee shop, this one happened probably within just a few weeks after my father passed. And so I was very hypersensitive. And I think that's a really fine, a very important point to make about people that have lost someone to suicide. We have a heightened awareness, and there's just a new lens that we have on ourselves, as we're looking at other situations. And so I was sitting and talking to my husband at a coffee shop, and there was a gentleman sitting to the right of us, and his facial expressions, the way he was sitting, I just could tell he was not in a good place. And I stopped my conversation with my husband and I turned to him and I just said, I don't know you, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I just want you to know that I care about you, and I can tell that something may be bothering you, and I just lost my father, and so maybe that's why I'm a little bit more emotional about it. But I just wanted you to know that I recognize you're struggling, and I hope that you're okay, and that you have a support system. And that's all I had to say. And he just kind of, whether he blew me off and thought I was, a little strange to be doing that, or it actually could have really made a big difference. I'll never know.
The one thing he absolutely needed, right? It could have been, and we don't know that. We don't know, but it could have. And if you wouldn't have done it, it definitely wouldn't have. But the fact that you did do it, it definitely could have been. And so we love to share strategies and tips on the show. And in the spirit of connection, of course, we just want to encourage you that, because you have a sense, every one of us has a sense, and when someone is really struggling. And then you have that sort of polite, I don't want to be a bother, sort of like social limitation that comes on you that makes you not help them. But, Cindy's story is a perfect example of how we need to help, or at least offer an opportunity to support somebody when we feel it, when we have those instincts. Yeah, fantastic. Thank you. Yeah. And you have one other really great story about a homeless person that you met.
Yeah. I noticed after I lost my father to suicide, that I had a different view of looking at homeless people. And I could just see the pain and the suffering on their faces in a different light. I think so many times we as humans, we want to walk by and not give them eye contact because we're uncomfortable. But I just now look at that so differently. And when I see someone on the street, I try to help in any way I can. But most importantly is just to say something and acknowledge them. I mean, we all have when we talk about connection, it's all about us being seen, being heard, being understood. I mean, those are just basic principles of humanity. And when you're walking across along the street and there's someone sitting on the side and everyone's ignoring them, imagine how isolating that is, on top of the fact that they are feeling shame, feeling guilt, feeling, having probably some sort of mental illness. And so I just find it's very important to say hello, to say, God bless you, offer some sort of caring, whatever if you're spiritual, if you're not, hello, how are you doing today? I'm sorry that you're, in this situation. It can make a difference. And the gentleman that I met, he started to tell me his whole story about where he slept at night, how he picked up construction jobs. And when it comes winter, I asked him, what do you do in the wintertime? And he said he hitchhikes to the Carolinas where it's warmer. This gentleman, I would then continually find him because he happened to kind of hang out during the days near a sandwich shop that my family and I loved to go to. And so, we'd pick him up a sandwich with the rest of the family, and I'd give him a few bucks and just spend a few minutes. That's all it really takes.
Yeah. And a massive impact just a few minutes takes. Just acknowledging. I mean, we all know when we bump into somebody, if we just smile, it's a whole different vibration than if we frown or if we look away. And so just a few seconds makes a really big impact. You and I could talk for hours. This subject is so important. We have not even touched the surface, and already our amazing time is coming to a close. I definitely want to have you back on the show because I think there's so many other layers to this that we can unfold. You have so many great stories. And I just wanted really the audience to get to know you and meet you because you really are igniting humanity, one person at a time, one awareness at a time, one acknowledgement at a time. And folks, we talk about that so much. How can I possibly ignite humanity? Well, you just do it one person at a time. Cindy, thank you so much. You can find her at thestrengthtolive.com. And again, congratulations. If you want to know more about Cindy, go to her website, and her book is coming out, The Strength to Live, January 27th. You can get it on Amazon. And Cindy is giving it away for free that day. That day she's making it a free download for everyone because she really is supporting mental health and that. Cindy, do you want to just give one call out for people if you are struggling or if you are feeling or if you need help? I know that you have a few support lines.
Absolutely. 988 if you're in the United States. That is a new crisis line that's been put in place. You can also go to my website. I have an entire page with crisis support for different individuals. And you can find, if you're in a different country, you can find a website that'll also list any of those resources. But, ultimately just tell someone. And, if you're struggling, if you're in a crisis situation, let someone know, that someone you care about and trust, and tell them you need help. And, if it means going to the emergency room, go to the emergency room and just let them know I'm having a psychological crisis, and they'll help you.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Congratulations to you. And thank you again for your beautiful bravery. We love having you, and you are definitely igniting humanity. Have a great day and take care.
Thank you.
Well, as you know, everyone, we want you to have ideas and strategies and tips on how you can ignite your life. And so you can go to our website and watch this recording and all the other recordings of all of our shows. Go to ignitehumanity.life/watch. All you need to do is sign in, and you have free access to everything. We don't sell you anything. We don't ask you for anything. We just want you to show up and watch the many videos about the Ignite moments of our incredible friends and associates. We also want you to lovingly go to our website at ignitehumanity.life, and you can check out where we are building schools. We're helping schools, and we are igniting lives and igniting literacy. If you want to know more, you can check out our website. Well, as you all know, it's Connection Day, so go to make a connection. Say something to somebody you may not know. Make an extra special effort to show some love and care. When you ignite yourself, you ignite others, and that ignites humanity. I'm JB Owen, your guest. Much love to you and blessings. May you have a beautiful day of Ignite moments.
Now, more than ever, we need to come together to connect with one another. We need to feel the truth in who we are and let go of everything that's happened in the past. We need to empower every person on the planet and awaken hearts, enliven souls, come together, laugh, play, rejoice, connect, create, and love. It's time to ignite humanity. We want you to be a part of something that will impact the future for everyone. We want you to tell your story, share your Ignite moment, show people who you truly are. Be a part of igniting humanity and making a difference in the world and all of our futures.